Hello everyone, welcome to REST API automation testing tutorial that can be done with the help of REST Assured API. So as usual, every course of us starts from basics to the framework level. Okay, so before we deep dive into the course, let's see some basic FAQs which you need to know, right? So first, what is REST Assured? If you see here, I have written REST Assured API in the brackets. So first let's try to understand what link we have between this REST Assured API and this API automation. So REST Assured is a jar file which is used to automate REST APIs. Okay, so if you have familiar about Selenium, so how Selenium does, it is used for web automation. In the same way, REST assured jars are used for REST API automation. Okay, so let's see the basic definition of this REST assured from their official website. Hit REST assured. So the first line you see here is testing and validating REST services. So that means you can test and validate all the REST APIs using this REST assured API, right? So that's the basic definition about this REST assured. So in our entire course, we will use this REST assured jars to automate our APIs, right? So before we take this second question, like, is API automation trending in the current IT market? Of course. So till the last year, probably from the last 5 to 6 years, we are hearing a lot about automation. So automation in the sense, so most of us know that in the web perspective only, like web automation, like opening the browser and clicking on the buttons, making sure text is displaying on the page. So that can be done with the various tools like QTP, Selenium, etc. And now, where exactly this API comes into picture here? So API go and sits in business logic layer. So if you test web, that means it is in presentation layer. So the data we are getting to this presentation layer from that business logic layer. So these APIs go and sits in that business logic layer and sends the data to presentation layer. Okay. So now, till now we are testing the presentation layer, okay, in the form of web automation. So in the current trend, slowly this testing focus is shifting from presentation layer to business logic layer, where exactly this API sits. Okay, so doing this API automation, in the sense we are actually testing the core business logic just to make sure to all the business scenarios are coming as expected. Okay, and you have a lot of advantages with API automation, where you can get the response within seconds, whereas with web automation it takes time to exactly navigate to that specific page. Okay, so more about this API automation and what exactly is REST API architecture we would discussing in our coming lectures. Okay, we have discussed a lot with the practical examples too. So here what I'm trying to explain is how the testing focus is shifting to this API automation. So I'll show you the proof. So there is a website called Indeed. So I hope most of you know that. It is majorly a big job portal. So basically what it does, it gives us job trends. So what specific tool is currently trending in the market. So now let's go and say this REST API testing. And let's see how that trend is increasing. Yeah, see here. From 2012, see that the graph of the jobs for this specific keyword is increasing. And you can see clear increasing the graph from compared to 2012 to 2017. Okay, so day by day the testing is slowly focusing to that business logic layer where exactly this API sit. Okay, so that's how the importance of this API automation is growing day by day. And in the same way, this Google guys came up with this REST assured API, just like Selenium for web, and this is playing major role in automating that, because this is an open source. Okay, this is not any paid tool. you can just download this REST assured jars with single click, and you can use in your project and start automating this REST APIs. Okay, as it is an open source, so it has a lot in the demand. So coming back to the third feature, do I need to have any basics as a prerequisite to learn this tool? No. For this course, not only this course, so in my every course, I assume that my students are starting from scratch level. So no matter if you don't have any idea on APIs, like what is REST API, what is REST assured, so don't worry, everything I'll be starting from the scratch level. Okay, let me show you the course content in a glance to explain from where I started. Here you go. You see that introduction to REST API. I will start my lecture from introduction to what is REST API. From this specific root level, I'll slowly build up on all the concepts. By the end, you will be mastered in this entire REST assured automation with framework level. So if you come down to section 5, you see that generating reports and end-to-end testing APIs on Maven project, TestNG, framework. So from scratch level, I'll teach you till the entire robust framework is built for testing this APIs. So that's the reason I have clearly given saying that basics to framework level. Okay, so you need not worry though you don't have any knowledge on this course, right? So next, what kind of real-time examples I get in this course? Okay, so one thing main is, there are a lot of real-time REST APIs available in the market, like Google Map API, Twitter API, Jira API. Okay, I have picked some of the most common and important REST APIs were widely used across the globe, and I have tried to explain them by testing and writing an automation scripts for them. Okay, so if you go back to my course content, you will see like how Jira API works, and I have also explained how Google Map API works. Okay, there are a lot of good real-time examples discussed in the course, so I can give you that assurance. It's just not like one demo API and validating that. So whatever example we take, that you can simulate with in your practical workplace. Next, how can I use this course learning in my company? Yes, so once you complete the course, you will have an ability to design the framework for this REST API testing. Okay, if you just follow my lectures, by the end of this course, you will be able to design the framework where you can download the full project code and import your project APIs, and you can show to your client. So you can use this course to build a framework and you can show it up in your workplace. Okay, so that can help you. And the last but not least, do I get any query support? Yes. So whatever query you have in learning journey, you can just post in the discussion board. I'm happy to help you in any time. I know in the initial days you may be getting a lot of questions, but I'm always there to answer your questions. Not only in the course, so even at your learning place, if you have any project support, you can mail me. I can answer through mail. If not, I can connect you to Skype to clarify your doubts. Okay, so let's walk through course content finally before we start our first lecture. Yeah, so we'll start with REST API basics and the terminologies related to it in our section 1, and trying to understand how REST API works, what is base URL, resources, real-time examples, understanding different type of REST requests, headers, cookies. So once we are done with the basics, then we will slowly shift to REST assured automation. Okay, we will pick up one Google Map API as an example to automate that, and we will also introduce some REST API manual testing tools like Postman, and we'll see how to test it manually, and then we will try to automate them by setting up test project. Okay, and we will start putting validations for our responses. You can see that validating the body of response, examples, and validating headers. Okay, so we will deep dive into automation by our section 3, where you will use like advanced concepts like post request with payload and passing the response value into subsequent requests. So all these lectures are based upon automation. Okay, So data-driven testing best practices. We also learn how to validate XML responses, JSON responses, and some shortcut methods to convert raw data. So it looks like technical to you right now, but once you are in course, you will clearly get idea of all these course titles. Okay, and you will also learn about logging features. And then we will pick again one more real-time example taking Jira API, and we will discuss thoroughly end-to-end about Jira APIs, right? So section 4 and then section 5, once we have robust knowledge on Rust Assured API, we will slowly move to building on test framework. Okay, so we'll convert our existing project which we have built till section 4 to TestNG, and thereover we will use Maven project top over it. Okay, and we'll do end-to-end Maven Rust API project, and we'll try to have excellent client reports as well as bat file to run them. Okay, so once you are done with entire sections, you have two optional sections here for TestNG learning. Okay, so here we have discussed some high level to create a framework. But if you want to learn more about TestNG framework, you can go through these features and make your framework more robust than what I have shown here in lecture 37. And these section lectures will help you on that. And as the code is dependent on little bit Java, if you have not known the basics, you can get that from section 7. Okay, if you have little basic, that's enough. We can handle in our project. Even if you don't have, it's not a big deal. You can go through my section 7. So that's we wrap up the entire course. Okay, so by the end of this total 7 sections, you will be able to design a REST API framework with all REST API automated test cases. So that's the assurance I can give from my side, right? So just spare 10 hours of your time and you will rock on with API testing, right? So let's meet in our next lecture with the basic introduction about REST API, and we'll take over from there. So all the best and good luck.